Hello, Sally. Hello, Heather, and thank you very much for that order, which has gone to the post office today. Hi, Sarah. How are things with you? Are you thinking about opening yet, or? I saw some lovely Facebook posts with flowers on. Hello, Mel. How are you? Hello, Sally. Hello, Fiona. I would quite like to do these videos landscape, but when I tried it once, it ended up posting sideways on. But I have a friend who does live videos, and they are landscape shape. If anybody knows, live, hello Maria. Yeah, if anybody knows how to do a landscape live video, obviously I can turn this sideways, but like I say, I had a problem. Hello Anne-Marie. Hello Tracy. Next month I think my new paper has just arrived. Oh, more paintings, Sarah, exciting. Hello Judith. Just move this out of the way because it's really bright and it's dazzling me, the whiteness of it. Hello Celia. Hello Liz. Hello Annaline. Ask Joe Wicks. I've never seen his videos. Are they good? Do you all do like star jumps and things in the morning? Hello Gillian. Oh, how nice to see you. How are you? Mike Tour, the maker of my lovely oak block table things. Hello Louise. Hello Carol. Hi Celia. My tea before it goes cold. Landscape would be good. Yeah, it would be good, but I don't want to end up sideways on your Facebook feed. I don't quite know. Oh, I've just remembered. The friend of mine who does live videos, landscape, she doesn't post them onto her page afterwards, I don't think. Hello William. I've got remind me, Daisy. Oh, I'm fine. I love seeing the pictures. I saw a lovely one of Ruth that she put up this morning, looking like a sort of nubile elf. Hello, Marianne. Margaret, you're here. Thank goodness we could begin. I started PE with Joe on Monday, and it's tough but fun, aimed at schools. Can't see that working for me. Anyway, gonna do just a little bit more. I had a day away from my drawing board, which is extremely unusual yesterday, and I did a bit more the other day, and I've started. These are the knapweed, or these ones. So I'll do a little bit more on them. I know it's not very exciting, but I'm running out of exciting things to do with you. Great, my framer has just sent me a photograph of a frame for an original painting that somebody has ordered so I can give her a choice. That's great. I can't tell you how much easier life is with this now. I mean, I've been doing this for 30-something years. And to be able to have somebody say, I'm interested in such and such, and I can say, okay, right, let me take some photographs, send them to you. I can take the photographs, close-ups of the frame, send them dimensions, overall size, all that stuff, price, and they can make a decision then and there. It's just amazing. Nice cardie. Why, thank you, Paul. Do you like my Peter Rabbit brooch? Ooh. Where is he? I went to my mum's yesterday, and this little person was sitting on. My mum's a piano teacher, even though, as I may have mentioned, she's 86 next month, and she doesn't actually believe it. But this was sitting on her piano, and I went, oh, Mum, that'd be lovely. I can think of some people who really like that. And she said, I really like it. And I said, Yes, but I have children that come to my house, which at the moment is not strictly true. It will be from a charity shop. The cardigan or the bunny. My mother gets all her clothes from charity shops. She waits until the cadavers have cooled a little bit and then goes into the scope shop and sort of picks them off the shelf. I said to her literally, Mum, you are going to have, if you survive this, which at your current rate of flaunting of rules is unlikely, but if you survive this, you're going to have such a field day. She lives just off Gosforth High Street. Hi Mary-Ann, please say hi to Mel Rennick from Felix, Lou, Jake and Sean. Mel, hi from Felix, Lou, Jake and Sean. Morning, I won't press any keys today. You can press there's a little heart, Margaret. You can press a little heart and they float up and it's really nice. Anyway, so I said, oh Mum, but it was so nice. You know, I've got 4 grandchildren. She went, 4? She literally couldn't give a... Anyway, I sort of guilted her into giving it to me. But look, they're like the same. Jane Peart is watching, because we all know how interested you are in art, Jane Peart. Did she win tennis? Right, yeah, quickly before I do some painting. I went to see my mother yesterday and I went at the allocated time because, look at the lovely hearts. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Because she rang in the morning and she said, actually, look at them. It's lovely seeing hearts. I mean, just literally just keep on pressing those hearts. And the laughter. I like that. Carol. So, yeah, she rang a little bit sheepish and she said, you can come anytime because I'm not going to be playing tennis. And I went, really? Why is that? You know. And she said, well, there are normally 7 courts open at the club, but there are only 3. And anyway, what I've done is I've booked a lesson for next week. So okay, I thought I'm not going to probe. So anyway, I went to her house and, you know, she didn't really even want to turn the television off. I said, look, I'll come, we'll sit in the garden, I'll sit there and you sit there and it'll all be fine. She refused. She just refused. And I'd gone all the way to Newcastle especially. She said, it's absolutely ridiculous. She said, look, come, just sit there by the window. Anyway, she'd got me an eclair and I said, but Mum, you've handled it. I ate it. And then she rang this morning. I'm sorry if this is boring, but I've got nobody else to tell. And she said, so I just want to ask you something. She said, so if I was born in 1934, does that mean that in 1935 I became 1? And I said, yes, Mum. And she said, I do get confused about numbers, which I know. And then she said, hello Jane, hello Abby, hello Helen, Liz, Alison, Gibson and Beth and Ross. Sorry about this, but I've just, like I said, I've got to tell someone. So then she said, so that means, I said, what it means, Mum, is that every year that ends in a 1, no, that's not what it is. No, I said every year that ends in a 5, your age ends in a 1. So in 2015, you were 81. Something's gone wrong. Oh no, we blew its brains frozen. I don't think that the internet's very good here. Hello, Evan. Am I back? I'm hoping it's doing. Anyway, so she said, so this year, I said, well, in 14 days' time, you're going to be 86. And she just went quiet. And, and I said, look, Mum, there's nothing I can do to make you a year younger. Anyway, that's that. Right, I'm going to do some... Oh, God, I need to find the brush. Is it still frozen? You never left. All good with me. Excellent, William, thank you. I need to find a fairly smallish brush to do the bits like I did the other day. Where are they? On that piece of paper. Oh, come here. Nope, it's gone. Oh, the hair's finished. I finished it off. I gave it some little toes and I put a bit more dark here and I put around the edge. So there we go, finished. I'm going to tip you. Wendy says I keep freezing, other people say it's fine. What can I say? Now then, if you just felt that you tipped up, that's how it's meant to be. You are meant to tip up a bit. So I'm going to mix a lovely purpley blue for these flowers. These ones, yes, it's all working out. Not freezing in South Carolina. It was freezing this morning. There was ice outside at 6:30 when I went out to give the dogs the walk, just not a walk, just a sort of a pee, and to feed the horses and make my coffee, because I returned to my bed with coffee, and then I listened to the information about how the coronavirus has behaved in the last 24 hours. I think that wants to be a tiny bit more quinna purpley, tiny bit stronger as well. It is good. I know that lots of you who are maybe not madly confident about what you're doing are looking at what I'm doing and kind of doing your own take on it, which is great. But to have the actual thing in front of you is a million times better. And there's an immediacy as well, which is great. Okay. And you need a nice little sort of springy brush like this one. Hope you can see all right. Oh, Lordy, nearly dropped that. Yeah, you can. Again, I was starting to worry about getting back from the post office in time today. Ildi hasn't really sped up at all, and I think it's her USP really. This rather, as I mentioned before, leisurely attitude. And as I was quite trying to sort of quickly get my 2 mail sacks, one for overseas and one for the UK, I was trying to get them booked in. I mean, we do all the paperwork here, so all she has to do is a thing with her scanning machine and then print out a receipt which basically just says, yes, we've got it. And then she staples something to one of the sacks. Guess what? The stapler ran out of staples. So that entailed her having to go through to the back to explain and show me, and then go through to the back and get more staples. And I was looking at my watch thinking, oh, I haven't prepared and I haven't really given it enough thought for you people. This is quite nice. That one's quite nice. I like it. I'm going to have to move my model. I'm getting a little bit more aware of what you can and can't see. Put my finger, yes, you can see that one. I know I shouldn't keep going on about my poor old mum. She's tiny, she's like the size of a sparrow. But basically, in my family, there are 3 women. There's myself, my mother, my older sister, and my younger sister. And basically, I'm like the gargantuan one. They make me look like a sort of giantess, because my mum is about 4'10" and weighs about 7.5 stones. Elizabeth is taller than me and is a size sort of, I don't know, 10, I expect. And Louise is taller than me, and she would be a size 8 or something. Anyway, my mum said this morning that a friend of hers said, "Oh, you're so lucky, you're so thin." She said I just sort of smiled, but I wanted to say, I've spent 75 effing years not eating things I like in order to be like this. And I said, well, Mum, you know, you're 86 next month. You could just let things slip a bit now. What do you think? And she just thinks that's the most appalling suggestion ever. She's just going to keep the battle up till she goes to her grave. I just wish one of them would get a little bit fatter. Okay, I hope that's... So that's like the next stage of those ones. I'm going to do a little bit of something. This is, I've got in front of me a yellow poppy bud flower, just sort of emerging out of the whatever it is. William Pittendrig put a comment and said, how do you do daisies? And that's a really, really good question. I'm wondering if you missed my session on white things. Obviously there's more to do here, but I don't want to wreck it, so I'll put that to one side for now. There's a bit of paper. Right, this is a good example of... I'll just tip you up. And this way I get to see what you're saying as well. No immediacy for you, Helen Henderson. Beth, I don't think that's fair, because Helen may well have seen a hedgehog chasing this squirrel. Or is it the other way around? No, my insurance won't cover... I'm obviously missing a whole story. I think you're right, Fiona. Please would you turn it around so we can see it the right way up. Sean, I did do that earlier. I'll do it again. Yesterday, when I was in the car, I was listening to this programme about someone called Bob Ross. Have you heard of him? He's like some demigod painter who people follow, and he has other people teaching his method in like schools in this country, and it's all about mindfulness or some shit. It was hilarious. I got home and Fifey said, did you listen to the programme on the radio about Bob Ross? I went, yeah. And that's really funny, because Jimmy Scott from next door came up to me and he said, your hair looks like Bob Ross. And I thought, what the hell are you talking about? I don't even know who Bob Ross is. So he gets his phone out and shows me. I could have pushed him off his bike. Anyway, not bad, beautiful, proud of her. The frogs. No, these are painted from life. That's what I'm going to say. This is a really good example. If you've got a glass, like a vivarium, I've got quite a lot of them, like big glass things that you maybe kept your goldfish in when you were little. And if we find a frog or a newt or a toad in the garden, you can put it in there. And yeah, they do distort things, but that is a really, really good way of very, very quickly doing absolute painted, quick, immediate sketches. And if they move, start another one. Anyway, I've got some paper on the other side to try to show William and the rest of you how I might approach Bob Ross's No Demigod. Some people think he is. His hair is even worse than Grayson Perry's, and that's saying something. Right. When I was at my mum's, I love frogs, there you are. Did you, Helen, were you here the other day when I showed you my desiccated toads? I'm just going to quickly get them for people who missed them. Ivy brought these back from a bike ride. How lovely are they? And what made them do that? Put them there. Right. Yeah, I was at my mum's and I saw these daisies and I remembered what William said. I'm going to tip you up. You watch Bob Ross? I'm not sure I want people watching Bob Ross and me. I think you have to choose, Tracy Kibler. Right, so I haven't got any of those lovely daisies like my mum's big ones, but I did get some little teeny ones off the lawn just before. And I'm going to put them in a place where there's a bit of light and dark on them and see if I can give you an idea about how you might go about painting them. And I think I'll start with that nice easy bit, which is the sort of like the ginger, not the ginger, the yellow bit in the middle. So I've got that one there, and then there's that one there, and that one there. And they have some shadow falling down here. So I'm putting, can you see just like a tiny little bit of darker paint. Right. Where's my brush? I'll just find sort of some any old green type thing. Oh, there's some nice-ish. For those of you who've got your paints, the lovely Ludlow paint set, there's a green in there. Yeah. Did you get that green? Hey, that's a... I'm hoping you've got a green that's a bit like this, a sort of sap green. I use that a lot. It's really nice and bright. And you put a bit of blue with it to dull it down. Where's my tester? Oh, I don't really need it. Right, so when you paint something white, you're leaving it behind. So I might just go... There's different ways of doing it, to be honest. This is one way, and I might show you another way as well. And I am looking at a little daisy here. Yes, about time you did a rat. Ah, Katie Weatherhead! There's a lovely lady from Sunderland called Trish... Ooh, what's her surname? I think it might be Taylor. And quite a lot of years ago, she bought some of my paintings, and which makes her very special. And then she got in touch with me by email, which was a good way to do it, because then it gave me a chance to think about her request. And then she said, would I consider painting her rats? And I have to say my heart sank. And then I said, well, it's not really my thing, but I could give it a go. But really the only way that would make it kind of be worthwhile for me would be because you're quite a way away, and these things often do not work. And, you know, getting in my car and driving somewhere, it starts getting a bit, you know, it can start getting a little bit, sorry, I'm just going to try and work out what the... you know, what's in front and what's behind. So I said, well, what about if you bring your rat here? And William, I hope you're watching. Okay. And then I'll do this next one, which is... I said, yeah, right, so you can bring it up, make sure you can... Oh, God, I only got 10% battery. How can I only have 10% battery when I'm plugged into the mains? Is it not working? Still waiting for my... You what? Sarah, that's not right. I'm going to write a note on the back of my hand and work out if I've maybe done a balls up and forgotten to send them. But I'll check that. I'm sorry, Sarah. I thought you went in the first batch. Right. Really, really sorry about that. You saying that's made me think. I wonder if I just assumed I had. Hello, James Gibson. Rats are the best. Okay, so anyway, I said, yeah, if you bring your rats here, and I'll see how I get on. But, you know, I paint from life, so... Anyway, so we made a date. She wasn't going to be put off, I can tell you. And I did have to say, you'll have to give me a bit of warning, because we've got 3 small dogs. And if there's one thing they like, as those of you who listen regularly, it's a rat hunt. So we locked the dogs up, and she brought the rats into the front room, which was the best place to take them, because I was thinking they were going to escape. You know, that would be the most likely thing, but turns out not at all. They're very, very, very tame. And these are show rats. These aren't just like the sort of rats that eat your feed and pee on everything. And turned out that the male rats were really quite sort of sluggish and dopey and had no ambitions to run around or escape or anything. William, are you liking this? I hope you are, because it's so fiddly. That's one way of doing it. I'm going to show you another way as well. It's quite nice just adding a bit of depth, and it makes the white jump out. And here's another one. So we had rats like all running around and sneaking around, and every so often they would do a poo, and it would be one little pellet about this size. Where are we? Just about that size there. And Trish would just pick it up and pop it in the bin. And I found it quite surprising, the whole thing. And I rather liked them. And they did sit quite still. And I did lots and lots of drawings while they were there. I did some painted sketches, and I took some photographs as well. And then it's all very well chatting away, but this is quite... And look, I've forgotten to put a stalk on that one. Right, stalk. Right, William, what do you think? Especially for you. Oh. Okay, so that's one way. And so you could paint a very pale background, and then, you know, have your leaves or whatever. And of course you can paint over the pale background. There aren't any leaves on these. So that's quite sweet. Another way would be to start with the flower and then do a background later. So it would be more like this. There's your little thing in the middle. Oh, I'm showing you all my secrets. I'm literally running out of tricks now. Show eels. You're just chatting amongst yourselves. I don't even think you're listening to my stories. Anyway, she bought all the paintings I did for a vast sum of money. So don't knock them. Rats, I'm quite happy with them. So you paint the petals with very, very pale, a very pale wash, and a wash is the word for that. It's just wash. That's a wash. That is a wash. And they're still wet, so you could maybe add on a little bit of. So there's always more than one way of like achieving what you're looking for. See, obviously you do a paler wash. So how about that? I'll put that to one side. Oh, I've done nothing. I did have a plan for something dramatic. Do you remember this landscape I started the other day? Oops, the other way around. Sky, hills, layers, 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 foreground. Okay. Thought I might do a little bit more on that. Today I'm here to... Hello, Barbro. How absolutely lovely to see you. Would the rest of you just go away while I chat to Barbro, who is there? No, we'll do that another time. Great to see you. My kids have 2 pet rats. I know are my favourite, very trainable. They are very trainable. Anyway, I'll tip you back now. Gently, gently. So, I'm going to do my usual thing, which is every window I look out of, as I have mentioned so many times, what we have are stands of trees. Lovely, lovely bits of forestry that are just so defining in this area. I'll just mix something up that's about right, and I always have to bear in mind that it will dry lighter, but it's tempting to... not sure about that. Just a bit too purpley, a bit more Payne's grey. Oh, sorry, you can't see me mixing. I'll just... There. So I'm sort of mixing, testing. Okay. So I've kind of got these distant trees on the horizon, very much what we see around here. And then I'll go for a slightly bigger brush. That's the one I did, those ones. And I'll go for a slightly bigger brush, so I'm going to do the same sort of thing, but a little bit closer. So she was unable to find a slightly bigger brush. There we are. This is lovely. It's, I'm hoping it'll keep translucent so that so that you can still see the yellow through the colour that I've just put on, or as I mentioned before, what we call it is a wash. I say we call it, that's what it's kind of technically I think what it's called. And I'm really starting to like the contrasts here. I'm now going to think about something maybe a little bit more visible in the foreground. And I'm wondering about using, maybe, no, I won't use that. Think about one of my Chinese brushes to get something a bit more like a tree. Maybe I'll use this one. It's quite big. Might be too big. Something funny happened today when I was waiting impatiently outside the post office, because it's only one in, one out at the moment. And as I mentioned, Ildi, who is our postmistress, she likes to get things right and doesn't rush things, which is a good thing. So I'm waiting outside, waiting, and Kelly, who's my neighbour up the hill here and part of the farm bubble within which I was working, so and as part of the, I'm just going to have a little practice, yeah. So these are a few trees I've planted. So she came out of the shop with her farmy clothes on and she went, hi. She said, will you just check the bairn's all right? That's like a local word for the child. It's lovely. She said, could you just check the bairn's all right in the car? I went, yeah, sure. So I went to the car just down from where mine was parked. And I opened the door and I looked in and I saw a packet of Skittles. Uh-oh. There's not much battery remaining. This is like not right. I've got you plugged in, on charge. I don't know why it's running out. Well, I'll probably have to stop quite quickly. Anyway, so there was a packet of Skittles in the in between the drivers and the passengers, and I very, very nearly grabbed a handful. But I happened to look in the back. I thought, where's Holly? I looked in the back and she wasn't there. And I thought, oh, well, that's a very funny trick. Tell me to go and check on the child that isn't even there. And I looked again, and it's very, very odd. And I couldn't go into the shop to say, oh, that was extremely funny. And then I said, she's not there, is she? And she went, aye, she is, but that's not my car. I don't know whose car it was, but they were very nearly short of a packet of Skittles when they got back in. I hadn't realised how the time had flown. I think that might... This isn't exactly what you call broad brush. This has all been a bit delicate this morning. So anyway, there are 3 little trees there. And I really am going to have to tip you up and bid my farewells for today, because I know, Jane. Is it switched on? Is what switched on? Hello. Oh, Sandra. How lovely to see you. Adele. Did you get your paints? Must go and feed the pet eels. Amy, hello, how lovely to see you. Hey, we've got loads of you. We've got 43 of you. What a triumph. Right. Well, it's been a delight. Is your cardigan sap green? I don't know, I got it from Costco. And look, it's got these lovely details on the wrist. People quite often say, oh, what a lovely cardigan. I love the button detail. And I think, well, yeah, 36 quid from Costco. Anyhow, can you do a sheepdog, if not already? I do not want to do a sheepdog. Sorry. I don't know whether that was a jokey thing, but it's just not really my thing. Anyhow, it's been lovely. Oh, quickly, Marv. Marv is now, he had his day at the vet where they did all this testing his glucose, and he's now on 2 lots of 4 units per day, and he seems a bit more perky today, I would say. And he went on a 5-mile walk with me last night, so that was a bit kill or cure. Right, well, have a lovely day. Tomorrow's Friday, so I will be here, but not Saturday. I'm going to pressure wash the stables. Right, bye.